Have you been fighting with your family or maybe your brothers and sisters? This is a good time to look at a Bible story. The story of Joseph and his brothers, the sons of Jacob, happens between Genesis 37 through Genesis 50. It's at the very end of the book. But for this video, we're just going to cover the basics of it. So Joseph was one of the 12 brothers, and he was the favorite son of Jacob. And Joseph had dreams that one day his brothers would bow down to him. That jealousy boiled over, then his brothers threw him into a pit, sold him into slavery, and lied to their father saying that he was dead. Genesis 37 verse 35. But he refused to be comforted, and he said, "For I shall go down into the grave for my son in mourning." Thus his father wept for him. That's gotta be a tough time for a parent. Now Joseph ended up in Egypt, and he was falsely accused and ended up in prison. Poor Joseph, talk about having it rough. But in that roughness, God was still with him. You see, Joseph could interpret dreams, and Pharaoh was being tormented by dreams of a famine that was to come. And Joseph was called up. So God gave him the interpretation. And Pharaoh made Joseph second in command over all of Egypt. Say what? Yes, second in command over all of Egypt. Now, when the famine became a reality, Joseph's brothers showed up in Egypt. They were begging for food, and they were looking for a solution. Now, little did they know that the person who was in charge of this was the brother that they betrayed. Now, Joseph tested them to see if their hearts had changed. But after some time, he just couldn't take it anymore. Genesis 45 verse 4. Then he said, "I am Joseph your brother, whom you sold into Egypt." Awkward. Now imagine that moment. The brothers were terrified that now Joseph would take this time to get revenge. But in speaking with his brothers in later chapters, in chapter 50, he had a bigger takeaway. There was something bigger going on. He said, "But as for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." So what's the takeaway here? Brothers can hurt each other, sisters can hurt each other, families can hurt each other. And when it comes to family wounds, they can cut deep. But Joseph didn't let bitterness write the ending of that story. He chose forgiveness because he trusted God's bigger plan. So here's a challenge for us. If Joseph could forgive those who sold him as a slave, how can we as brothers and sisters, and not just in family, but in faith as well, take a step towards forgiveness? So drop a comment. Do you think you can forgive like Joseph did? Or are you still mad against your brothers and sisters? Let it go.